On today's video, I'm going to show you the newest and most exciting update in Lightroom to date. I've been using Lightroom for literally 15 years. It is single-handedly the reason why I became a photographer. When I learned how to use Lightroom, I realized becoming a professional photographer was going to be doable and enjoyable. My favorite thing about Lightroom is the library module and being able to organize all my work in one place. But I know most people come into Lightroom because of the editing. So if you want to learn everything there is to know about Lightroom, I have a masterclass that will walk you through every single button, step, and secret in this software. On today's video, I'm going to show you the newest and most exciting tool that Lightroom unveiled. It is the masking tool and all its new features. Let's get into the laptop so I can show you. Lightroom introduced a new way of using masks, and if you go under your mask setting, you're going to see the new features. So before we had the brush, the linear gradient, and the radial gradient. And I used to use the brush a lot and use that tool to kind of brush over people's skin, skies, and really target your edit into a specific part. But now Lightroom has created this automation, and it is quite frankly incredible. So let's start with my favorite one, and the first one on the top here, which is selecting the subject. So when you click this, your Lightroom is going to automatically find the people in your photo, and it's going to create a mask around them. It's going to put it on the little mask over here, and you have the capability of selecting the actual people, or if you right click, you can invert the mask and it's going to select everything else. So for example, if I wanted everything else to be blurrier compared to a couple, we could drop our clarity on everything else, we could drop our texture on everything else. If you wanted to make everything except them darker, we could do that. You can start to see how this is going to be an incredible feature. With just that alone, our image became so much more interesting, and we don't have to be doing that manual work or going to Photoshop for it. What you can also do, let's say I like that, is you can actually duplicate and invert. So we can leave that around and we can create a new mask for our people there. And same thing, you can brighten them, you can darken them, you can add contrast. You can also select the amount of effect being applied. So it gives you an extra way to regulate what you're adding. You can warm them up, whatever you want to do. You could even make them a little sharper to kind of make them pop from the image. You can look at that difference. It's absolutely insane. So that's the one for selecting people. It is my absolute favorite. Let me show you what else we can do. So if we want to work on the same image, you simply want to click the plus here and the same menu pops up. Next thing I want to do is select my sky. So again, I'm going to let it do its thing, and it knows what the sky is. You guys, this is insane. I love this so much. Okay, and what I would do in this photo is maybe play with the warmth. You gotta be careful to keep it real, right? But for some people, this is a great creative tool. If you wanted to change colors and create more unrealistic fantasy images, you could do that. In this case, I'm gonna just warm it up a little bit. I'm gonna make it even darker. You can make it brighter. I mean, you could do whatever you want, really. Let me show you on a different image, maybe something that's totally blown out like this. And they are perfectly lit, right? So I wouldn't want to touch them. If I were to use my exposure overall, they will get darker as well. We don't want to do that. So again, I'm going to go with select sky. It missed a little bit of the ocean there, but that's fine. We don't really mind. And I can bring it right down. We can subtract things from the mask. So you can interselect mask with a brush. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to remove this bit that I don't want. So you wanna click the erase and invert it. There we go. So I did a choppy job, but just to show you the possibilities of what you can do. So that's before, that's after. Again, I did a really quick job just to show you what it can be done. And lastly, I'm going to show you my second favorite tool. Let's pick something where our subjects are nice and close. Yes, maybe this one over here. So the last tool I want to show you is the color range. And what the color range is going to select based on color. So when I click this is my favorite way to use it. I am going to click on skin,
and see how it's mostly selecting the skin tones. You can refine it over here by kind of removing some of it or adding all the way. Obviously, the more you add, the more it's going to include, but I think somewhere around there is good. It's mostly the skin without anything else in the background. And once I have that, guys, I go straight into decreasing the clarity and decreasing the texture. And now we have perfect, glowy, soft skin. That's before, that's after. Let me get up close so you can see that's before and that's after. So you can add a little bit of a glow. You can add a lot too. Of course, you know me as an editor, I'm always less is more, but you can do this with one click, which means there's no brushing over, there's no going into Photoshop for it. You can easily soften skin with one click. That would be like super extreme, before, after, and then you could go all the way if you wanted to, which obviously we know it's not my style, but then you can go to the amount and decrease it. So that's a great way to find your edge. So that's before, that's after, before, after, and that's the image zoomed out. So as you can tell, it adds such a nice glow to the skin in such an easy way. I'm obsessed. And you can use this for all kinds of things. Let's say we wanted to change her lip color. We can go back in, add a mask, select the color range, and it's picking up a little bit of extra things, so I'm gonna decrease it. And if we wanted to darken her lipstick, if we wanted to brighten it, if we wanted to change the color, this is incredible. Okay, here you go. So yeah, I just wanted to pop in and show you what that tool does, because it's going to drastically improve your editing capabilities and your image quality.